Hi, I'm Grant, Head of Education Director for NauticEd, and people ask me this question a lot. They say, what's the difference between a sailing resume and a sailing certification? And to answer the question, it's a lot, and there's some things you need to be aware of, and so that's what I'm going to do in this video. The best way to explain it is you show up to a job interview and you bring along your degree, and you show that to the interviewer, and they look at the degree and they say, great, you've got yourself an entry-level job. And so an entry-level job, that's akin to getting a dinghy, you might say. But if you show up to a job interview and you've got a resume, a fully documented resume with all of your experience, that's akin to going to a charter company and getting a 40-foot charter boat. And so really that's the difference. It's like rock, paper, scissors. A sailing resume will absolutely trump a sailing certification. And so and the reason I say that is there's a lot of companies out there that issue sailing certifications, and you just don't know the quality of one sailing school versus the other sailing school. And so charter companies are really aware of this, and so what they do every time that you talk to a charter company and you say, I want to charter a boat, you might say, well, I've got a bareboat charter certification from so-and-so Sailing Association. The charter company every time is going to say, well, show us your resume. And so the resume is a documentation of how much experience that you've got, what kinds of boats that you were on. Were you skipper of the boat, or were you crew on the boat? So those are the questions that you have to fill out. And so what we did at NauticEd was, it became pretty obvious to us when we started this company. There's a lot of technology floating around. We've got the internet available to us. We've got the ability to log in and put stuff up in the cloud and store things. And so what we did at NauticEd was create a sailing resume. And that is exactly what you do. You go online and you log all of your time that you've experienced. And when we interviewed the charter companies, what we said to them is, what is a good charter client? What would you be confident about letting a client go out on a boat? And so we came down to a sort of a formula, and it's 50 days on a boat, on a sailboat, would give them a lot of confidence. Half of those would be as master of the vessel at least, and say half of those would be on a 28-foot boat or greater. And so when we interviewed the charter companies, I said, okay, would that do? They said, yep, that is enough experience where a person has seen enough where we feel confident that they can get out on a boat and be able to bring that boat back undamaged in a week. So, but the charter companies also said that they wanted to make sure that the client, that's their client or our student, had some technical knowledge, some theory knowledge as well. And so we listed it off. It was anchoring, navigation, docking and maneuvering, general sailing skills and safety, and some bareboat chartering knowledge, and what to expect on a charter. So those are the sort of the theory things that they want to see as well in a really good course. And so putting it all together, you can have a lot of clients show up to the charter companies. They don't have any formal training, but they've got a lot of experience and they've got a lot of knowledge. And so again, what we did at NauticEd was say, in the resume, let's put in there their experience. Let's put in some courses that they can take online and get the theory done out of the way. And then also let's put in there, if they've been signed off by an instructor anywhere around the world, then that instructor can actually log into NauticEd and click a little button and say, I deem this student practically proficient. And so those are things that start to build up your resume. And then, it was pretty funny. A lot of people say, well, a person can just say something on a resume, and so how do you know it's really true? And charter companies do have a problem with that as well. I mean, people that fill out paper resumes, they tend to extrapolate a little bit or embellish a little bit on their resume. And so what we built in, just using some pure technology, was an authentication system. So if I go sailing with you, and when I get back, I log in and I set you up as a crewmate, and I just say, I went sailing with this person. That sends an email to that person, and if they click on that and say, yes, I did go sailing with Grant today. That authenticates my logbook, and it also authenticates their logbook. And then, so as you take a look at the resume, what it does is it says, Grant went sailing, has gone sailing 350 times. 30% of that has been authenticated by other crewmates. And that gives the charter company a lot of confidence that what you're really stating on your resume is the proper experience that you've seen. The charter companies can log in to NauticEd. You give them a logbook code, and that logbook code, you'll find that in your profile tab. You give the charter company your logbook code. They can log in and now take a look at your resume. They start to see your experience that you've got. They see all the courses that you've taken. They see instructors that have signed off. They can see authentication systems in there. And so that's what a resume is. And what we found is, you know, I talked to a lot of people in the street and at boat shows and things, and they say, you know, I went out and I got a bareboat charter certification. And I called up the charter company and they said no. Now, why are these people getting a bareboat charter certification when they're not ready to go chartering? And it's purely because it's the difference between a resume and a certification. And so that's why we put this whole system together, and it's free. It's a free system for you to use. You just log in, set up a little profile, and then you just start loading up your experience into the resume, and then that creates automatically a resume. It builds it down, breaks it down, last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, size of boats that you've been on, skipper or master, who you went out with, how much has been authenticated. That's your job interview, that's your winning job interview resume. And if you take a look at it, that's what you really should have to be safe out on the water. You can't get enough information in 2 weekends with a bareboat charter certification that is handed out to you after 2 weekends, where you have enough knowledge to get out on the water and go charter a 40-foot sailboat. Things happen out there all the time, and that just happens to me. Every time I go chartering, something happens, and sometimes I go, what if somebody didn't know what they were doing? And this happened. It's getting dark, you're coming into the marina, your sail won't come down, it won't unlock. How are you going to fix that? Those are things that you can only learn about with experience, and a lot of it, you know, experience comes from just crewing with other people. And so one of the big things that I always talk about is, how do you get this experience? Get out on the water with other people that have sailboats. Even if you have a sailboat and you just keep sailing, go sail with other people, other skippers. Get in a race, join a yacht club, start going in regattas. And man, I'll tell you what, in a regatta you see things happen, and you'll see the crew come together and the captain pull it all together, and you'll learn from that experience. So join a yacht club. I'm always talking about that. Join a yacht club. So putting it all together, listen, this is what a modern education company should look like. It doesn't matter if it's sailing or flying or pogo stick jumping, you know, whatever. A modern company should be able to create a system where you can get the theory, you can access the theory really easy, go back through it, test yourself on it, get the kind of knowledge that you need to have, and then be able to list the practical experience that you've had, so that when you show up to the job interview, you're not only is the charter company or the person that's hiring you, that they're confident, but you're confident as well, because that's the greatest thing you've got to have out on the water, is confidence and competence. So what I recommend is sign in right now, or sign up, and just start loading up all of your experience into your resume and start to take a look at it. And what we've done is created a guide in there. So if you've got the right amount of courses that you've taken, and you've got the right amount of experience, automatically our algorithms will start raising you up in rank on your sailing resume and raising you up in level. And that's a really good system that, you know, we've put together. It's just a logical system to make you, to help you realize that you're doing the right kinds of things to get there, to be able to get out and go bareboat chartering and safe. And I talk safety because of, you know, you've got your friends on the boat, you've got your family, you've got young kids, you've got your friends' kids on the boat. There's other people out on the water that have their family, their kids. So we're talking safety here. don't get out on the water if you don't have enough experience. Use the NauticEd resume system, and that will show you, that will help you get to the point where you should start feeling confident and competent if you're getting the Bareboat Charter rank. Now, we're not saying ours is a certification, it's a rank. And our level systems are experience driven by time on the water. So log in, you'll figure it all out once you get on there. Once you get in there, what we recommend is obviously take the Bareboat Charter Master series of courses or bundle of courses, and that's the whole series of courses that will get you enough theoretical and technical knowledge about how to get out and go bareboat chartering, and that's all just laid out there really simple for you. The cost of it is $175. There's about 45 hours of study in there, enough information to get you out there and be really confident on the water. Now, we'll address another certification system that is important to get if you're wanting to go to Europe. You have to have what's called the International Certificate of Competence, and it's called the ICC. That's what it's known as by everybody. If you go to Europe, you have to have the ICC. So in order to get the ICC, there's a couple of things that you have to do, and the ICC was created by United Nations because sailing in itself, especially chartering and going to Europe where there's a lot of borders crossing and sailing, it was created by United Nations so that you can get an international license. You have to do theory and you have to do practical. And so the theory side of it is the course that we have online. It's called the RYA Day Skipper Theory course. You take that, you pass the exams, and then you can show up to any school worldwide that RYA has. They have 500 sailing schools worldwide, including in the United States as well. And you do the practical, you do the theory, that gives you the RYA Day Skipper course, that gives you the ICC. Now, the ICC, as far as I'm concerned, is the only true sailing certification that's out there. It's created by United Nations. It's a sailing certification. Countries sign off on it. However, you go to Europe, hand over your ICC to the charter company, they're still going to want a resume. So hopefully that will explain everything about sailing resumes and sailing certifications. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll see you out on the water.